All right, y'all. So now let's get into our final topic. And let's talk about this Drag Race Season 17 Lalaparuza that just happened over on, what's that channel? MTV. Damn, I forgot what channel it comes on. So yeah, after we had to say goodbye to Susie too, which in my opinion was one of them kind of like the worst episodes of the season. I did not like that season at all. I talked a bit about it in the last episode that we did. I didn't like the idea that, okay, y'all had them. I mean, I understand if y'all were trying to do this whole thing because I like the idea of, okay, so we're going to determine who's going to be a part, possibly a part of the whole Vegas residency thing, because that's the new thing that, I mean, even though it's been around for like what, 5 years, the big thing that they're trying to promote now. The fact of the matter was, it just felt like, okay, y'all have this song, Meet Me in the Gift Shop. From what I've heard, the gift shop got a lot of trash ass merch up in there that is basically just RuPaul based stuff. None of the queens that perform in the residency, they get to sell their merch. So I guess they're just getting a flat fee from performing in the residency, but they're not able to sell their merch. First of all, I'd just be like, you know what? I would just have that stuff on my website. That's the way y'all just got to get it. And then we just have to figure out a way to deliver it. But anyway, but yeah, so we had to say goodbye to Susie too. Apparently, everybody gagged when she got sent home because she didn't excel in that whole thing. I would have liked to have seen the girls get up there and do individual lyrics and stuff added to the song, or RuPaul would have at least had something to add to the song. But it just felt like some random throwaway song, and y'all had these girls get up there and do some janky choreography to a mid-ass track, and I felt underwhelmed. And so Susie went home because of it. And clearly Susie was giving more Broadway than Vegas. And that's probably a good thing because, child, quiet as it's kept, Broadway is way more valid than damn Vegas. Vegas is like where everybody goes to watch their career die, in a way, or relaunch their career. But, so yeah, she got eliminated. Sam and Susie placed in the bottom, while Anya picked up another win ahead of the finale. Um, Actually, didn't Jules Sparkles win that one? I don't think Anya won that one. I thought I could have sworn that Jules won it. But then again, then after this, it was like, look, then we got the final four got to come into the workroom, and then followed by all the eliminated queens from the season. So then, Lana's basically ready for the Smackdown, and she wants to be the lip sync assassin. Even we got Joella, and we're gonna talk about her horrible ass runway outfit or her drag performance outfit, because I'm like, girl, who dressed you? But we'll get into that. And talk about she wanted her revenge, but child, we saw that performance. What revenge? Because you ain't getting nothing but sent packing again. So now the episode was filmed last month. So I know a lot of people are like, well, how did they even know like all the other stuff was going on social media? Because they just recently filmed it. They filmed that, I believe, like a couple of weeks ago. And so then we finally got to see it air. And so now we get to hear about what all the girls is up to. A lot of girls got a lot of Fix-A-Flat injected in their face because they don't look the same as when they started out. I just like Ariette's hair. I like the little skunk streak. It was giving very much Richard Madden from Game of Thrones, with how he has a little streak in his head, or it was giving Reed Richards from Fantastic Four. I was living for the hair. But yeah, there was a couple of girls that came up in there. Yeah, I see y'all got a couple of nips and tucks in that face, like y'all been shooting Fix-A-Flat in y'all cheeks and y'all lips and things of that nature. And then Corey brought up the whole cameo thing where she was doing Corey Toot, which, sidebar, I think I'm officially become obsessed with Corey Toot. So I'm looking for Corey Toot. And then the girls basically were kind of bantering with each other and kind of doing the bragging, like, yeah, I'm going to kick your butt in the lip sync, and I can't wait to take this one, and doing all the stuff. And then the girls started getting ready for the drag, getting ready to get into drag and beating their face and about to get, so they could do the whole get ready for the Smackdown. But the cute thing, of course, because they had to do this on camera, even though I believe they did it off camera and probably did it on social media, whatever the case is, because Anya brought it up. Of course, for the context and because you're doing a reality show, they had to show Ariette pulling Anya to the side to apologize for that nasty mirror message, which I don't know if y'all saw Roscoe's that just passed, but Thorgy Thor was on there. Child. I don't know if y'all saw it, but yeah, Thorgy Thor was on there, and they asked, fuck, marry, kill. And it was talking about like to Jewel Sparkles, and it was talking about with her the other three that were there that was going up against her. So it was like Anya and Sam and Lexi. So she said I would marry. She said she would marry Anya, to which of course Thorgy had to come in and say, "Oh, you gonna marry her? You gonna be making out with her with that breath?" And the girls done fell out. I was like, now we see now this is gonna be the ongoing narrative where she's gonna go now that's gonna be associated with Anya. Now everybody gonna be worried, okay, now if I come near Anya, it's like you gotta worry about, okay, if her breath gonna hit you on her face in your face, did the breath situation get dealt with? Or she's still running around here where she need to change her name from Anya Nerd to Halitosis. So that's something that I guess they're gonna be wondering and all this other stuff. And yeah, it was a key. But it also makes me wonder, like with Arietti coming and doing a whole apology thing, will this thing still be held over her head? Because I feel like, yeah, the way she went out and it was a nasty way of her going out, her being bitter, her being in her damn feelings, the nasty mirror message, people will remember that for the rest of their life. Similar to like Fifi O'Hara. Now, Jeremy done moved on. And a lot of people still out here bringing up old stuff from his time being on RuPaul's Drag Race, where he was just going through it with Sharon, who now we all know is problematic. And maybe Fifi was right about Sharon the whole damn time, but the way it was on the show, we ain't know about all that then. And then, the way she performed on All Stars. So that's still being held over. And a lot of the queens always complain about that. That they still going through, they still getting a lot of the hate from the old seasons. So yeah, so Arietti apologized to Anya. She forgave Arietti. I was like, yes, now can we finally move on from this? And most of the eliminated queens basically want to have fun on the main stage and they want to redeem themselves in their last performance. Because we all know, like, when they was up there lip syncing for their lives, and we seen a lot of those performances, a lot of the girls really were a mess. And no shade, but a lot of y'all, like, y'all glue your wigs down, y'all makeup was looking crazy. It's like it literally was giving like y'all started drag last week. That's why I said y'all need to y'all need to bring back Drag You, and you need to do it like The Voice. You get 4 iconic queens up there, and you mentor these new diamonds in the rough. Because a lot of y'all need that, and I'll host it. It's like, yeah, y'all, there's a lot of diamonds in the rough that's on the show. But now that you look at it, when you looked at this Lalaparuza, the girls is polished now. Like I said, they got the new fixer flat in their ass and their face. The outfits is outfitting, with the exception of some like Hormona Lisa with that lack of rhinestones on that one piece that she was wearing. And then Joella looked a mess. There was a couple of them. So yeah, now speaking of, but they it was just family. Once Ru came out. Speaking of which, can we talk about RuPaul's outfit? I did not like it. I felt like it was giving like it reminded me of Britney Spears performing Oops, I Did It Again, the remix at the VMAs. That's the type of one piece that Ru had on. But if you was looking at her when she was walking, I don't know why, but the crotch looked like it was bubbling up. It just didn't look like it looked a little ill-fitted. Like the curves was curving, but it was just certain parts of it where it looked a little frumpy and it was bumping up in the front. And this is just like little details. The look didn't work for me. And I need her to retire them damn George Washington wigs, but and all the little Elvis wigs she be wearing too. But for the most part, yeah, I didn't like the outfit. I just felt like it rumpled up a little. It crumpled up a little bit. But it was just her. It was T.S. Madison, Michelle, of course, and Bruno, who had to spin the wheel. So then we get to the performances, and of course, the first coming out will be, well, not of course, but it was Homona Lisa and Corey King Man, which is Lydia Butthole Collins. So now they did a new twist on the challenge, which is they spin the wheel, Bruno picks out a ball, and normally what happens is they either, they could pick, the person that they could pick their opponent, and then the person who picks the opponent, who is picked, gets to choose the song. But this time, what they did is you have a choice. You either get to pick your opponent or you get to pick the song. So a lot of the girls, they wound up picking the song, and then Bruno had to spin the wheel again, and pick the opponent they had to go up against. So the whole Liza with a Z performance, which I absolutely love, by the way, because I love Liza. Mona Lisa picked Liza with a Z, which threw Susie off because Susie was like, "Oh no, that's my song," but she didn't get picked. Lydia Butthole Collins got picked. And Lydia was like, "This is not really my wheelhouse. I know the song and I like Liza, but that's not necessarily my zhuzh." And I was like, "Now, if Susie ends up getting picked, I was like, there's blasphemy going on up in here. Like this is y'all cooking the books over there in the production." So no, it wasn't her. They picked it was Lydia. So then Lydia basically ate her up. That one piece, like I said, that Pomona was wearing, or as I like to call, or we all call her sadness. First of all, that wig was flat. The outfit looks underdeveloped. It looked like you was about to go ice skating. Like you need to go and join Denali on and join the ice capades. So that's what her outfit was given. I didn't particularly like it, but she ended up losing. She was given the bare minimum during the performance, and I felt like the way Lydia turned it during the thing, and I just thought that she did a much better job. So then after that, we wound up getting to, well, that's not who we got to get, but I will say this picture of Susie, no shade, this is the best she's ever looked. The wig, the Rihanna loud arrow wig, I should say. This outfit that she has on was living for it, and even the makeup was beat. She was reminding me of remember Vitamin C that came up with that song, the graduation song. Like she kind of gave me a little bit of that. I just thought that was the prettiest that Susie's ever looked. I always thought that her makeup came across a little too heavy, but she looked good here. So yeah, so then Susie got picked next. She just, I mean, she was the next ball to get picked. She picked Joella, and Joella chose Training Season by Dula Peep. So they lip synced to the song. Joella's outfit, child, it was just a chop all around. Like it literally looked cheap as hell. You was giving local drag queen tease with your overall aesthetic and your overall outfit. And so I love the fact that Susie kind of came very demure with it. And she was cute in her performance. So Susie too ended up winning, and Joella lost. So the next one we get to was Lucky Stars, who was the pork chop of the season. And she decided to pick the song. She picked Step by Step by Whitney Houston, which I was like, I wasn't really feeling that remix. But so she wanted to pick a song, as you know, like Bruno had to pick another queen out of the thing. So Acacia Forgot ended up getting picked, and they lip synced to the song. Lucky was cute. I think what made me like the song, even though I didn't particularly care for that remix, like I needed like a Hex Hector remix or a Thunderpuss remix or something, because that remix was not given. I don't know who the remix was done by, but I just did not like it. Now, if it ends up being no, it wasn't Thunderpuss, because Thunderpuss had a signature sound. So I would have known if it was them. But when it came down to it, I will say this: Lucky with the basketball boobs and everything, it was cute. And it was like, it worked for that moment because she was giving Banji Girl with the whole thing. Like, it was giving, like, she was no-ging and shaking the titties. And, the outfit was cute. It was hilarious. But then she tried to do it again in another performance. And I was like, okay, you about to lose this round. That was with the second round. So before I jumped the gun, Acacia was cute in hers, and I did like the idea of her doing the delayed dip. That was hilarious, though, when she was like trying to do like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this delayed dip, and I'm gonna just drop myself down. So that was funny, but it wasn't enough to keep her saved. So Lucky ended up winning that round. Then we get to our fourth lip sync, where Bruno pulled Arietti's ball, and she chose "Blow Me, One Last Kiss" by Pink. And then the drag gods chose Corey as her opponent. Now, what people didn't know is that, you know what? Corey's like, I do Pink all the time when I'm performing live. So she got up there. Thank God she glued that wig down, because that wig did not come off. She was giving hairography. She was giving energy. She was giving passion. She was giving emotion. And I'm sorry, but Corey ate her up. Like when you look at Arietti is pretty to look at. I love her aesthetic. I love her whole vibe and her energy and how she presents, as she's a pretty queen. But in regards of performance and standing out and being memorable, she gives me nothing. Like, I don't get that passion from her. So I was not surprised that Tori ended up eating her up in that round. And so she lost her third lip sync because, she's been chopped 3 times on this show. It was like the first time, excuse me, there's been 3 times that she was eliminated from the show. So now Crystal and Lana were basically the queens that were in last place, because after that it was like they had no choice. They was already paired up. So we had Crystal Envy and Lana Jarrett. And so they had to compete against each other. Now the song that they chose, well, I should say Lana chose, was You Make Me Feel Mighty Real by Sylvester. And she said the reason why she picked it, because she said, I know it's Rue's favorite song. And that's what I went to. So she basically was kissing Rue's behind. But look, it worked, because when she got up there, she was selling sex. She was removing her outfits. She started humping all over Crystal. Like, it was just a great. And then she did like the little split and then brought herself up from her core and was holding, like, literally standing up on her heels, like halfway on the heel or whatever. So like halfway down, halfway up. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm sure you can probably imagine because you looked at it. So like the details of the overall performance, the way she was whipping her hair like a helicopter, like I was just living for Lana's performance, and she stepped it up, because before I used to think like Lana wasn't that girl in regards of um the live performance and lip syncing. Like, she was giving me kind of like you was holding back. But in here, maybe I guess y'all would listen to a lot of the critiques all over social media. So maybe that's why y'all changed y'all tune and came to a different conclusion. And now, y'all stepping it up in regards to watching the show. Except Joella and Sadness. They still was given the bare minimum. So then, of course, so after all that, now we get to round 2, which is Lucky. She chose We Found Love by Rihanna. And that's when the drag gods basically chose Susie Toot as her opponent. And that's when we go back to this picture, because that was what this lip sync was for. I know I jumped the gun with that earlier. So after that performance, it just felt like Lucky was doing the same routine with the basketball titties and all that other stuff. And it just felt, and it was good to see the 2 Florida girls going up against each other. But I feel like at the end of the day, Lucky didn't deliver. I felt like Susie basically came with her own tricks and was doing stuff different based off the lip sync. It just felt like at one point, Lucky was becoming a one-trick pony, and she ended up getting eliminated. So then after that, Lucky, was sent backstage. The semifinals wrapped up, and then they basically had like a 3-way lip sync between Corey, Lydia, and Lana to 360 by Charlie XCX. Now, when that song came out, I was like, okay, I'm loving this performance. It's definitely giving me my life. And so um the odds aren't in Corey's favor, but if there's a 3-way kiss, she might have a chance. Now, Lydia ditched the scissors and pulled off a reveal because she was it was a play up of her elimination. She pulled out a pair of scissors, and then she was like, no, I'm gonna just, I'm trying to be funny, psych, whatever. Tossed the scissors, ripped off the piece of fabric, did a reveal. The girls were up there serving brat realness, and then Rue decided basically the person that went to the final round was Corey King. Lana and Lydia were eliminated. They head back to the workroom. And so then it's down to the wire before, he called all the queens to basically come back from backstage. They get to sit outside on the side to watch the final lip sync, where you basically had Corey and Susie team up, and they did pate 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 by Bruno Mars and Rose. So now the queens, with the way Ruth said, she was like, "You're gonna lip sync to APT." I'm like, "Girl, you could have said it pate pate," but her stiff ass. She ain't gonna get up there and have fun with the songs. So it's both queens basically put all the energy that they could muster. Because, after doing all those damn lip syncs and you advancing to so many different rounds, I know you'd be tired after a while. So that's like 3 different performances you got to give. When you're going up different stages. When you have like the regular round, the semifinals, and then the one who determines who's going to win that $50,000 and crown. She already had hers, which we ain't heard at all this season. So then, Corey had basically showed her fake titties, took off the tearaway bra. Then you had Susie ditching her coat. Rue basically decided who was going to win that, and it turned out to be Susie too. Now the funny thing was, I didn't watch the episode until yesterday, but I already knew who won the lip sync because I don't know. I think I was on social media. I think it was on Instagram, and I happened to see Susie was at a watch party, and she was watching herself win, and then came out like stomping around and clapping and having a good time. So I'm like, damn, now I know that Susie won the damn lip sync. So I already knew before I even watched the episode that she had won, but I was just like, and to me, I feel like this was her redemption. That in a way, this was Susie 2's redemption because Susie basically was eliminated from the show, and a lot of people felt the way that, yeah, y'all went and chopped her from the show, but we wanted her to make it to the finals, but it wasn't in the cards, and who knows, maybe we'll see her on All Stars one day, but yeah, she didn't win the challenge. It is what it is. I'm not that mad over the fact that she didn't make it to the Final Four, but at least the good thing about it is she's walking away with 50 grand. And a crown. She ate up her sisters in the lip sync. So next week, we actually have the finale where one queen will basically take home 200K and the crown and scepter and walk away as being the queen of all, of season 17. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you think of this recent episode of the lip sync Lalaparuza Smackdown? It was cute. There were some moments about it. I was like, there was some moments I was like, okay, y'all ate. Like, I was definitely living for the fact that we got a little closure in certain things for television purposes. So that way the fandom could stand down and stop being so damn shady and always willing to go in and let have on people. So I liked all of that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all what you thought of this overall episode of the Drag Race. I almost call it a challenge, child. That's the other MTV show. So yeah, I would love to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below.